Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of U.S. state quarter dollar coins, as some of these coins are rare and can make you rich overnight. In this video, we are gonna uncover the rarest coins and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we are going to dive deep into the world of the 1972 Jefferson nickel, also known as the United States 5-cent coin. Now I know what you're thinking. It's just a nickel, right? Just 5 cents. You probably remember them rattling in your pocket. Or maybe you've got dozens lying around in drawers or piggy banks. But what if I told you that one of these seemingly ordinary coins from 1972 could be worth a small fortune today? Yes, you heard that right. That little nickel could be hiding a secret. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to look for and why this coin is sending waves of excitement through the coin collecting world. Let's start with the basics. The 1972 5-cent coin features the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side, an image that's been used since 1938. On the reverse side, you'll find Monticello, Jefferson's stately Virginia home. The design might seem familiar, but beneath that classic appearance lies a treasure trove of hidden details and potential errors that can turn this humble nickel into a collector's dream. What makes the 1972 Jefferson nickel so interesting to collectors? For starters, there are two main mint marks to look for. One from the Philadelphia Mint, which usually has no mint mark, and another from the Denver Mint, marked with a small D on the coin's reverse, to the right of Monticello. But the real magic comes when you start looking deeper at rare minting errors, die variations, and high-grade examples. One of the most exciting discoveries tied to the 1972 nickel is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice with misaligned dies, creating a ghost-like doubling effect on the letters or numbers. You'll want to look closely, especially around the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1972. If the letters appear slightly duplicated or fuzzy, you might just be holding something extraordinary. Another known rarity is the off-center strike, where the coin's design is misaligned during minting. This leaves part of the design shifted, with a blank crescent on the edge of the coin. While off-center strikes can happen on any coin, those that still show the full date and mint mark are particularly valuable. And let's not forget about the full steps variety. This is a special designation given to Jefferson nickels when the steps of Monticello on the reverse side are fully visible and sharply struck. Most coins from the 1970s show weak or worn steps due to aging dies. But if your 1972 nickel has 5 or 6 clearly defined steps, it's considered a rarity, and collectors will pay a premium for it. You might also find struck-through errors, where debris or grease interfered with the striking process, leaving odd marks or missing design details. Or even coins struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the metal blank wasn't intended for a nickel at all. These mistakes are rare and highly desirable, especially when authenticated by a professional grading service. Now, let's talk condition. Coins that have been in circulation for decades are usually worn down. They've been through vending machines, dropped on sidewalks, and passed through countless hands. But if you're lucky enough to find a 1972 nickel in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially graded MS 66 or higher, you've got something special on your hands. And when you combine that kind of condition with a dramatic error, like a double die, off-center strike, or rare planchet mistake, you're not just holding a cool coin. You could be holding a jackpot. Here's the big reveal. Just how much can a rare 1972 Jefferson nickel be worth if it checks all the boxes? Well, one of the most extraordinary examples, featuring a rare error and preserved in pristine, high-grade condition, has been valued at an unbelievable $78,000. Yes, you heard that right. 78,000 United States dollars. For a 5-cent coin. That's the kind of value that turns a hobby into a passion. And it's exactly why collectors and coin lovers all over the country are checking their jars, flipping through rolls of nickels from the bank, and hunting through old collections, just hoping to find the next great discovery. What should you do next? Start searching. Pull out your 1972 nickels, grab a magnifying glass, and examine every detail. Look for doubling. Check the steps on Monticello. Watch for off-center strikes or odd markings. And if you think you've found something unusual, don't spend it. Get it professionally appraised or graded. It could be one of the rarest coins of your lifetime. Top 2, we're going deep into the story, the hidden rarity, and the jaw-dropping errors that could make a 1987 5-cent coin worth more than a brand new car. Let's begin with the basics. The United States 5-cent coin minted in 1987 features the long-standing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. His face has appeared on the nickel since 1938, and while the design may seem familiar and even ordinary, what lies beneath the surface is anything but. Flip the coin over, and you'll find Jefferson's iconic home, Monticello, engraved on the reverse. It's a clean, classical design, but the magic lies in the details. Because some of these 1987 nickels weren't minted perfectly, and that's where things get exciting. Now, you're probably wondering, how could a coin from 1987 be worth more than 5 cents? More than $5, even? Here's where we dive into the world of rare mint errors, die varieties, and collector-grade conditions. Let's talk about errors first, because that's where some real value comes in. Point one of the most thrilling errors you can find on a 1987 Jefferson nickel is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck more than once by the die, but slightly misaligned. The result? A doubling of letters or numbers, often seen in the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date 1987. To the untrained eye, it might just look like a blurry or thick font, but to collectors, it's a golden opportunity. Another highly desirable error is the off-center strike. This is exactly what it sounds like. The coin is stamped off-center, with part of the design missing or pushed to one side. The more dramatic the misalignment, the rarer the coin becomes. Some of these can be as much as 50% off-center and still show the date, which makes them even more valuable. And then we have the struck on wrong planchet error. Every coin is supposed to be made from a specific metal blank or planchet, but sometimes nickels are mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for a penny or even a foreign coin. These mistakes are incredibly rare, and collectors absolutely love them. If your 1987 nickel feels too light or too heavy, looks smaller, or has an odd color, you might be holding one of these rare varieties. But even without any of these dramatic errors, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. Most coins in circulation get nicked, scratched, or worn down. That's totally normal. But a 1987 nickel that's been perfectly preserved, kept safe in a collection, or somehow untouched by time, can be graded by a professional service as MS65, MS66, or even higher. And when you combine an ultra-high grade with a rare error, that's when the value shoots through the roof. Here's something else collectors look for: the full steps designation. On the reverse side, Monticello has a series of steps leading up to the entrance. If all 5 or 6 steps are clearly visible without any blur or weakness in the strike, your nickel may qualify as a full steps coin, a variety that commands premium prices all on its OWN.SO. How rare is a valuable 1987 nickel? Extremely rare. While the U.S. Mint produced millions of nickels that year, only a tiny handful have surfaced with the perfect storm of condition, rarity, and error. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting, because that one unique coin could be hiding in your own pocket change. Now, here's the part you've been waiting for. Just how much can one of these 1987 Jefferson nickels actually be worth? Well, one extremely rare specimen, featuring a dramatic mint error, paired with pristine, uncirculated condition, was valued at an incredible $75,000. Yes, 75,000 United States dollars. For a 5-cent coin. That's the beauty of numismatics. It's not just about the metal. It's about the mystery, the history, the error, the rarity, and the thrill of the hunt. So if you're sitting on a stack of old nickels or find one in your change from the store, don't just toss it aside. Examine it closely. Look for doubling, off-center strikes, strange textures, or unusual weight. And if you see something odd, get it evaluated, because you just might be holding something truly rare. Top 3, we're talking about the 1989 United States 5-cent coin. That's right, the Jefferson nickel. At first glance, it might seem like just another ordinary coin you'd find in your change, but don't be fooled. Some of these nickels are far from ordinary. In fact, one rare version of this coin has been valued at a life-changing amount. So stay tuned, because you might just have one sitting unnoticed in a drawer, coin jar, or collection right now. Let's begin with a little background. The 1989 5-cent coin features the classic portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front, just as it has since 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, this image of Jefferson is one of the longest-running designs in American coinage. The reverse side showcases his famous home, Monticello, a neoclassical architectural masterpiece and a symbol of Jefferson's vision and legacy. But as familiar as this coin may be, the 1989 edition holds a few surprises. And the real story begins when we dig into the minting process, the rare errors, and the collector-grade conditions that can turn a 5-cent coin into a five-figure treasure. Millions of these nickels were struck in 1989, primarily at the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, with a small D mark. Most went into circulation and lived hard lives, used for snacks, gas station change, and school lunches. But a very small number were different. A few escaped the mint with mistakes. Others were preserved in nearly perfect condition. And it's these rare survivors that collectors are on the hunt for today. Now let's talk about the exciting part, the errors. These aren't just tiny imperfections. We're talking about dramatic, valuable mistakes made during the minting process that turn a regular coin into something truly exceptional. First up is the double die error. This occurs when the coin is struck twice with a misaligned die, resulting in a noticeable doubling of the design. The date, the word liberty, or even "in God we trust" might appear doubled or blurry. It's subtle if you don't know what you're looking for, but for experienced collectors, it's like finding buried treasure. Another rare error to watch for is the off-center strike. This is when the coin isn't perfectly aligned in the press, causing the design to be pushed to one side. In the most valuable cases, the off-center strike is dramatic. Sometimes 30, 40, even 50% of the design is missing, and yet the date remains visible. That's a rare combo that collectors are willing to pay big money for. One of the most fascinating errors is when a coin is struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a nickel-sized coin struck on a blank mint for a penny or even a foreign coin. The size, weight, and sometimes even the color can look different. These mistakes are extremely rare, and they're like the holy grail for coin experts. And don't forget about the full steps variety. This term refers to the steps on the front of Monticello. On most nickels, those steps are partially blurred or worn, even straight from the mint. But a 1989 nickel with perfectly visible, crisp steps is known as a full steps coin, and that designation can multiply its value significantly, especially in mint state grades. So, what does it take for a 1989 nickel to be worth real money? The perfect combination: a rare minting error, exceptional condition, and high professional grading. Coins that have been well preserved in near-perfect condition, graded MS 65, MS 66, or higher, are rare enough. But combine that with one of the major errors we mentioned earlier, and you've got something truly special. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. How much could one of these 1,989 nickels actually be worth? Drumroll, please. One rare 1989 Jefferson nickel, featuring a dramatic error and preserved in pristine condition, has been valued at an astonishing $72,000. That's right, 72,000 United States dollars. For a 5-cent coin. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about age, it's about condition, mistakes, and the rare moments when the mint gets it just a little bit wrong. And for those lucky enough to find these treasures, it can mean a massive payday. So what should you do next? Start digging. Go through that change jar, open up your old coin folders, or even check with friends and family. Look closely at your 1989 nickels. Use a magnifying glass. Examine the date, the letters, the steps on Monticello. And if you spot something unusual, don't spend it. Get it graded, because you might be holding a piece of history and a whole lot of value. Top 4, we're talking about the 1990 United States 5-cent coin, also known as the Jefferson nickel. At first glance, the 1990 nickel might not seem extraordinary. It's been in circulation for decades, and chances are you've held one in your hand more times than you can count. But let me tell you, some of these 1990 nickels are worth a small fortune, and you might have one hidden away in your collection or in your spare change right now. The 1990 Jefferson nickel carries the well-known portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. Jefferson, the third president of the United States, has graced the front of the nickel for decades. On the reverse side, you'll see a depiction of Jefferson's home, Monticello, which is symbolic of his legacy and the values he stood for. It's a clean, iconic design that you've probably seen 1,000 times, but don't rush to dismiss it just yet. What's hidden in those details could change everything. You see, the real value of a coin like this lies in its rarity and the errors that can make it much more valuable than just 5 cents. Coins aren't just valuable because they're old or rare. They're worth a lot when something went wrong during the minting process. A tiny mistake, a subtle misalignment, or even a change in the metal composition can turn a regular coin into a collector's gold mine. Let's get into what makes the 1990 Jefferson nickel so special and valuable for collectors. First, there are the error coins. These are coins that were struck during the minting process but didn't turn out quite right. Some of these mistakes make coins highly desirable. For example, a double die error can occur when the coin is struck twice by the die, but with slight misalignment. This can cause the design to appear doubled, especially in letters or numbers. Imagine the word Liberty or the date 1990 being slightly duplicated. This is a major error that could greatly increase the value of the coin. Another error that adds rarity to a 1990 nickel is the off-center strike. Normally, coins are struck in perfect alignment, but sometimes a coin is struck off-center, leading to a design that is not fully visible on one side. Some collectors love this type of error, especially if the coin is significantly off-center but still retains part of the date and design. The more extreme the misalignment, the more valuable the coin can be. Perhaps the most fascinating error that can increase the worth of a 1990 nickel is the struck on the wrong planchet mistake. A coin's planchet, the blank metal disc, is supposed to be a specific size and material. But sometimes, a blank intended for another coin, like a penny or even a foreign coin, gets struck by the nickel die. This results in a nickel that may appear smaller or even made of a different color or texture. These kinds of mistakes are extremely rare, and collectors know that finding one could be like striking gold. Next, let's talk about coin condition. Like any collectible, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value. Most 1990 nickels are circulated and will show signs of wear. But the rarer coins, the ones that are in mint condition or have been carefully preserved, can fetch much higher prices. If a coin is graded MS 65 or higher, it's considered to be in excellent condition with no visible wear or damage. Coins in these pristine states are sought after by collectors, especially when combined with errors or special features. But wait, there's more. For full Monticello steps enthusiasts, this is another factor to consider. Monticello, the building on the reverse side of the coin, is intricately detailed, with steps leading to the front door. Coins that show a full set of steps, meaning the steps are crisp and clear, are in high demand. If you have a 1990 nickel where all the steps are visible and perfectly etched, it could fetch a premium price because these full steps coins are far rarer than the standard issue. So, now you're probably wondering, how much can a 1990 Jefferson nickel really be worth? The value of these coins can vary depending on their minting errors, condition, and rarity. In general, a 1990 nickel in regular circulation is only worth 5 cents. But when it comes to rare errors, full steps, or coins in mint condition, the value skyrockets. For example, one extremely rare 1990 Jefferson nickel, featuring a major minting error and preserved in pristine condition, was recently valued at an incredible $72,000. That's right, $72,000 for a 5-cent coin. So, if you have a 1990 nickel lying around, don't just toss it into a jar and forget about it. Take a closer look. It could have one of those rare minting errors, it could be in exceptional condition, or it might even be a full steps coin. If you spot something unusual, it might be worth getting it graded by a professional coin grading service. Coin collecting is all about finding that hidden treasure. Coins that have slipped through the cracks of time and ended up being worth far more than anyone ever imagined. So keep an eye out. You never know, your next coin could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Top 5, we're talking about the 1993 United States 5-cent coin, also known as the Jefferson nickel. Now, before you think, oh, just another nickel, let me stop you right there. Some of these 1993 nickels can be worth way more than just 5 cents, and I'm about to explain exactly why. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just getting started in the world of numismatics, this video is for you. So, grab your magnifying glass, because what you're about to hear could change your coin collection forever. First things first, let's talk about the design. The 1993 Jefferson nickel features the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. This design has been on the nickel since 1938 and has become one of the most recognizable images in U.S. coinage. On the reverse side, we have the classic depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's famous estate in Virginia, symbolizing his legacy and architectural achievements. So, what makes the 1993 nickel stand out in a way that could put a few extra dollars in your pocket? Let's explore some of the key factors that make these coins so rare, valuable, and worth paying attention to. while the regular circulation 1993 nickels don't usually bring much value on their own. Things change when we start talking about rarity and minting errors. These small imperfections, often overlooked by the untrained eye, can turn an ordinary coin into a treasure trove for collectors. One of the most exciting types of errors in coins is the double die error. This happens when a coin is struck twice by the same die, but with a slight misalignment. As a result, the design becomes doubled. On a 1993 nickel, you might notice the date, Liberty, or the motto, "In God We Trust," appearing twice or out of alignment. For collectors who know what to look for, this can be a goldmine. These double die coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on how noticeable the error is. Another exciting error to watch for is the off-center strike. When a coin doesn't line up correctly during the minting process, it results in an off-center design. In some cases, part of the coin's design is completely cut off, but if the date and other key details are still visible, these coins can become highly desirable. Off-center strikes are rare, and the more extreme the error, the higher the price. But let's not forget the struck on the wrong planchet error. This happens when a coin is mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, like a penny or even a foreign coin. This results in a nickel that could be smaller or made from a different metal, and it's an error collectors would absolutely love to get their hands on. Now, let's talk about coin condition. As with all collectibles, the value of a 1993 nickel increases dramatically if it's in exceptional condition. The vast majority of these coins were circulated, meaning they've seen plenty of wear and tear, leaving them in a lower grade. But if you have a mint condition 1993 nickel that shows no signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration, it could be worth much more than you think. Grading is a huge part of a coin's value, and a higher grade like MS65 or MS66 could make a big difference in the price. One feature that adds to a nickel's desirability is the full steps Monticello variety. If you're not familiar with the term, it refers to the level of detail seen in the steps leading up to Monticello on the reverse side of the coin. Most circulated nickels have these steps worn down or indistinct, but if you have a 1993 nickel with sharp, fully visible steps, it can make the coin worth significantly more. A coin with full steps is considered rarer and more valuable because it shows a higher degree of precision in the minting process. Now, we come to the big question. How much can a 1993 Jefferson nickel really be worth? Let me tell you. Some of these coins have been known to sell for jaw-dropping amounts. If you happen to have a 1993 nickel that features one of the minting errors we've discussed, a double die, off-center strike, or struck on the wrong planchet, and it's in excellent condition, then you're sitting on a potential treasure. Coins that have been graded highly, especially those with errors, can fetch serious money. For example, one incredibly rare 1993 Jefferson nickel, in near-perfect condition with a major minting error, was recently valued at an astounding $66,000. That's right, $66,000 for a coin that's only worth 5 cents in its regular form. Incredible, isn't it? This is the magic of coin collecting, the hunt for that rare find that could turn a modest coin into a fortune. If you have a 1993 nickel, it's definitely worth a closer look. Check for those minting errors, look for sharp details, and most importantly, keep an eye out for coins in exceptional condition. The rarer and more perfect the coin, the higher the potential value. So, what are you waiting for? Get those old coins out of your drawers and start inspecting them carefully. You might just have the next big find. If you enjoyed this video and want to discover more about rare coins, collecting tips, and valuable finds, make sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss out on the next amazing coin discovery. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.